Welcome once again to We Rise. I'm your host, T. Willard Fair, President and Chief Executive Officer of the Urban Greater Miami. Been away for a few weeks and glad to be back and hopeful that we will have a good time this evening. Going back, it was in the 1990s. I was doing my thing in Liberty City. I thought I was the Mau Mau of Liberty City. I was trying to save all black people from themselves. I just come out of the civil rights movement, had made some great contacts with great people, been in great company. Went to Harvard for 2 weeks with Stokely Carmichael, Marion Barry, Ron Karinga from the West Coast. They invited all of us black leaders to come to Harvard to share with them our experiences as to how we were motivating depressed people in our respective communities. I came back and I was hot as fire. I almost set Liberty City on fire. I began to have conversations with all of those white people who were in charge of all of us colored people. I convinced Frank Borman that he ought to hire some black people as airline stewardess. I talked to Gil McDougall and convinced him that he ought to hire black people to climb the light pole as opposed to digging the hole for the light pole. I went down to Southern Bell and convinced them that they couldn't see black telephone operators. Therefore, white folks who did not want black folks to be telephone operators wouldn't know that they were black because they could talk white. I just integrated everything in this town. And then I heard that there was this new person in town called Yaweh Yahweh. So I said, who is this guy coming to my town, going to take over my oppressed people, who's going to be able to convince them that he knows more about oppression than I did? I watched him. The gathering place back in those days was Lom's Restaurant on 7th Avenue. All of us big shot colored people who were influencing the white people to do good things about black folks met at Lum's every day. And on Saturday, we talked about the plans of action for the next week. I saw this guy coming in, sitting down, and talking to people that I did not know. Then I watched him because when one group got up, another group got up and came in. Now, these were people that I had invited to come to some of my planning sessions. So I said, who is this guy able to get my people in my town to come and talk to him in Long's? I'm inviting them to come to the Urban League. We got air conditioning. We serve bottled water. We are somebody. Who is this guy? So I said, well, he's just another guy in town. He'll go away. And then I looked around and I kept following him. And I saw that people were following him also. And I said, hold up here. Something is wrong here. Something is wrong here. I cannot let him come in here and replace me. I'm the black leader in this town. Who is this guy? I said, well, just a flash in the pans. He'll go away. Like Father Divine, like all of those other guys, they'll go away. Then I noticed that he started convincing these people that they ought to pool their resources and be of one mind. And then I read where they were buying up stuff in my town. So I said, hold up, something's wrong here. So I said to one of my staff members, her name was Mary Taylor, I said, I need you to get me an appointment to see this guy called Yaweh Yahweh, because I need to meet him on my own so I can form my own opinion about whether or not he is a guy that ought to be in my town. If not, then I'm going to do everything within my power to make sure that he leaves my town. I cannot let him replace me. I am the black leader in this town. So I went and I met with him. And I talked to him. And we talked. And we talked. And I left saying, I'm going back to talk some more with him. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a Baptist, so it was not about religion, but it was about philosophy. It was about what we wanted for our people. And I found out that we wanted the same thing for our people. And therefore, if we wanted the same thing for our people, then we could, as the social workers say, coalesce. And we did. Now, people began to criticize me for going to see Yahweh ben Yahweh. People began to say, well, what's wrong with you? Well, I tell you, it ought to be very clear by now. And I'm prepared to do whatever I have to do to work with whomever I want to work with if I am convinced that they have the best interests of my community in mind. You may not like them, you may not know them, but if I'm convinced that they have the best interests of my community in mind, then I'm going to work with them. And I was convinced. So tonight, we're going to have a nice little conversation about Yahweh ben Yahweh, but more importantly, not about the man, but what about the man espoused for all of us to believe. Not about what he did, but what he challenged us to do. Not about who he was, but who he said we could be. That's what I want to talk about. So I met this young lady a couple of days ago. She came by and said that she wanted to do something with children. Well, you know, if you say something, go do something with children. You got me right up front. You got me because I want to do everything within my power to make sure that the children in Liberty City have a bright future. So I put aside all of those great experiences that I had, and I looked very clearly and said, you need to come and have a conversation with me on my podcast. Welcome.
Thank you.
Good to have you. Sorry I took so long to introduce myself,
No,
but I'm full of
so
emotion
beautiful.
about my experiences with Yahweh ben Yahweh.
Yes, sir.
And I wanted to share those. Now, how do you pronounce your name?
Mehetabeel.
Yahweh. What does that mean?
Yahweh makes happy.
Yahweh makes happy.
Yes.
Okay. And why is it that all of the followers of Yahweh have some Yahweh as part of their name?
I'm sorry, bottom.
Yahweh as part of your name, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes. BasYahweh.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And do all of the followers of Yahweh have Yahweh as part of their name?
Not everyone.
Okay.
Some of the Hebrews are still Israel.
Okay.
But as Yahweh ben Yahweh said, you know, you want a part of our inheritance is him.
Okay.
So as his father, as my father, Yahweh ben Yahweh, then to be a part of his inheritance or be co-heirs with Yahweh ben Yahweh,
Okay.
then I would have to have the same name as my father.
Okay.
So I changed my name about 12 years ago
Okay.
to BasYahweh, which means Bas means daughter, and then Yahweh is God. So I am Yahweh's ben Yahweh's daughter.
You changed your name legally.
Yes, sir.
So all of your documents now
Yes, sir.
have this name.
Yes, sir.
And you went back and corrected your birth certificate?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Completely.
Yes, I did.
How did your close friends and family feel about that who are not members of Yahweh ben Yahweh?
A lot of them, of course, you know, they're in opposition, you know, because they want to still call me by my slave name.
Okay.
And, you know, but I responded because it doesn't really matter to me because I know who I am. They don't know who I am.
Oh, so that's the problem. So I don't get upset when folks call me something that I know that I'm not.
Right.
That's the lesson is. If you
Yes.
know who you are,
Yes, sir, you do.
then you don't worry about
Yes,
what
sir.
other folks think you are.
Yes, sir.
As
No.
long as you're comfortable with you,
Yes, sir.
that's all that matters.
Exactly.
That's what I tell folks.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that you may not like me, but I put on this outfit today because it reminds me of the slavery. This is Africa.
Yes, sir.
All right. I got this shirt when I went to Africa.
Right.
I didn't get it at the flea market in Miami.
Right.
I got this piece on because this is a piece of volcano rock.
It's beautiful.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
You can wrap anything around it that burns, set a fire to it, and as long as it's wrapped around this rock, it will not catch fire.
Wow, okay.
That's the power of the rock.
Yes.
You talk about the power of Yahweh ben Yahweh.
Exactly. Yes, sir.
Okay. But your friends got a little discombobulated when you decided that you were going to follow this man who used to be a real man in life but changed his style.
Yes.
You were ridiculed, ostracized.
Mm-hmm. And I noticed later, still up until this point, I say to a lot of people, everyone is playing a part of prophecy. And it's a blessing to know what side you're on. And because of the persecution that I go through, the ridicule now that I go through, and disbelief in the things that I'm doing, I fit that description like Yahweh ben Yahweh did, like God, Yahweh. And so I know what part of prophecy I'm on, because if no one ever came to me and they loved me and showed me love and they were all for me pretending to be, of course, then where's that part of prophecy that they play? Because in the Bible, the man called Yeshua, he went through it too. So all of the prophets went through it. They were being ridiculed because of the name Yahweh.
So you didn't go through stuff because of the color of your skin?
No, I did not. I did not. I only went through it when I came into Yahweh, learning and understanding who Yahweh ben Yahweh is. And then that's when really everyone stood up and had a lot to say about my life. Other than that, when I was out there in the world, as they say, having fun, being on one accord with them and enjoying their presence and how they want to live, it was okay. But then when I changed my life and changed my name, and because of Yahweh ben Yahweh, I give him all praises and glory and honor because I didn't know who I was. And he also, Yahweh ben Yahweh said one day, he said, they're going to pay for their psychological damage. I really almost literally lost my life mentally because I didn't understand him. I couldn't relate God to myself. And that was the hardest thing mentally for me to come to understand who I am, was that mental slavery. Because, all these many generations, my mother, my grandmother, and so forth, they never taught me anything about the Bible, never taught me anything about myself as being a God. Like Yahweh said, he said, you are a God, but I couldn't relate to what does that mean. Okay, by definition, you're supreme, you're superior, you're good, you're excellent, par excellent. That's the definition of God. But what does that really mean? How do I become this? So as I continued my daily walks of life in righteousness, because I love living good, I love being moral. And that's what Yahweh ben Yahweh gave us 28 moral behavior attributes of himself to study and learn and become of this. And I didn't really start experiencing who I am up until really recently, because I started going through trials and tribulations to test through understanding to be righteous, to be good, to be excellent, right conduct, all of Yahweh Yahweh's moral behavior attributes. I start living them instead of just reciting them. And then that's when the journey became more real to me. Like, okay, then I understand who I am and I understand my purpose now. And I'm free. And it's beautiful to be free now, because now being free is another level. I never knew what it's to be free, because I always felt bound, or I was bound because I was following other people. So you go through life and you follow what other people believe and how they perceive you and how you want, and you act like how they want you to act, but you have another self. And yourself that I had, I knew I was good. I knew I just want to just love people, and that is my main concern, is for us and the children. When Yahweh ben Yahweh taught us to study, he said, this is not something you can study. You can't study your nature and just take it on and just be that way. You have to be that way. So I'm naturally born. I'm able now to be able to exude my good character that I discovered of becoming a God and a child of Yahweh, not just being good and being ethical, but understand that I'm truly Yahweh ben Yahweh's daughter, God's child. That's most powerful. And then understanding that that was a secret. It was a secret, and it still is a secret, but it's not now because Yahweh ben Yahweh came to reveal the name. So understanding that the name is power, and that's all that I live my life by Yahweh's name. My whole character is His name. My whole life existence is His name, and I've been with Yahweh ben Yahweh for 37 years, and now within years, recent years, I feel more free than ever because now I'm able to exemplify what He taught me. And I'm able to go out now and I will continue what Yahweh ben Yahweh set forth to do. He has cloned me. I study every day. I keep His laws, statutes, judgments, and commandments. I keep the laws. I keep the feasts. I keep the Shabbat day. I was very, very concerned about the Sabbath day. So I started an event getting a Sabbath day together so that we all, regardless of your race, creed, or color, can come together on that one day. As He said, we have to come together on that one day or be destroyed. That's His word.
Is it Saturday or Sunday?
It's sundown Tuesday, like now, to sundown Wednesday.
Okay.
And then next year, which is Abib 1, that's the beginning of our year. And then from sundown, because changes would be sundown Wednesday to sundown Thursday. And the correct year is 6027 next year. Right now it's 6026. So the Sabbath, Yahweh's law, I always loved His laws. And the Sabbath day was just so dear to me because I don't want to be destroyed. I'm a good person. I do what He tells me to do. And I'm His child. So I have His genes and chromosomes. So my concern was us. I know that Yahweh ben Yahweh taught us that we put ourselves in slavery because we were disobedient and rebellious to Him. I understand all that, so I don't blame any nation of people for what they did because we did this to ourselves. So now we have to undo this, and it is a physical come together. I've been told to be on Zoom, and just make videos. No, sir, I will not do that.
Everybody's doing that. I mean, that's mass communication. TikTok, Facebook. Everybody's doing it. Why won't you do that?
Well, that's all by plan and design, not by Yahweh, because Yahweh is physical.
Okay.
He said, let His light so shine before men, that people will see your good works. You can't show works on Zooming. You can't feel it. See, I'm a people person. I'm building the kingdom of Yahweh without walls. See, I'm not interested in getting a building first. I'm looking for people that we can build a relationship to know each other. We have to get to know each other, and then we go from there to build. And the Zooming and all that is by plan and design, not by Yahweh, because all that's part of the beast. It's part of the beast system. We already know that. And there's no way that you can even teach a child or anyone effectively on television, because that's what it is.
You can't?
No, sir, you can't. How can you?
We're going to Zoom now, and we're getting ready to come out of the pandemic, and we're going to put all of our children on the computers.
Well, the scripture. See, when I talked about the prophecy, you understand what prophecy is all about. When Yahweh said that scripture, they should be tormented day and night. It's our children that's being tormented day and night. Okay, because they're there day and night on the computer, constantly texting, constantly
without permission,
and there's no communication. There's no social life at all. And we know logically that you cannot teach love. You can't teach tenderness. You can't teach any child that type of
nothing takes the place of the human touch.
Nothing. And so that's what I was told to go on Zoom. But Yahweh ben Yahweh, I'm finding what he did. He didn't do that. Someone asked him on one of his interviews. He said, "Well, Yahweh ben Yahweh, how did you do that? How did you take the children?" He made geniuses out of every last one of them, from 5 years old on up. They were all geniuses in his university. He said, "Well,
he had a university."
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that, because most folks don't know that.
Yes, sir. Well, his university, like he was saying on the interview, And then going to the university, he was saying that he teaches children to praise Yahweh. They do rote learning, inculcating, and to sing high praise to Yahweh. Okay, so therefore that has to continue, and that was all physical. But his university, Yahweh Ben Yahweh had over 300 students for years upon years. There was no teen pregnancy, no crime, no fighting, no arguing. Um, all the students were geniuses.
Where
They
did
just
these
didn't
children
have the
from?
age
Where did they come from?
from the world.
These were
It came
black
from all
children.
walks from life. Yes, yes, sir.
No crime, no pregnancies.
No, sir, whatsoever. And I just put up on YouTube. My granddaughter is on YouTube. If you look at, it's Yahweh University, Yahweh Ben Yahweh Transcendent Intelligence. If you type that in YouTube, then you'll see her. I taught her, but it's how Yahweh Ben Yahweh taught me. I wasn't a Yahweh University teacher in Miami. I was in Baltimore. So Yahweh Ben Yahweh had the top of the line teachers here in Miami here because this was headquarters. And certain of his teachers, he pointed
There
them
was
out
a
to be
university
directed.
in Miami.
Yes, sir.
Most folks don't know that.
No, they don't. They wasn't meant to know.
Oh,
Because Yahweh Ben Yahweh taught us all that we were gods.
okay.
That was why they took Bible out of school, because you can't, and Yahweh out of the school. You can't teach us that we're gods and then still rule over us. So therefore, no, you have to teach us that we're Negroes and we're colored and we're blacks, because it carries no power. But when you take a child and teach them like Yahweh did, that you were God, and all of your children of the Most
I am
High
somebody.
Yahweh.
And when I think I am somebody, it's very difficult for you to convince me that I am nobody.
Exactly. And no one else has ever in history ever did what Yahweh Ben Yahweh has done for us as a people in general. He brought us together. We kept the feast, we kept the laws, and Yahweh Ben Yahweh brought in professionals. So they weren't all bad people.
Well, no, that's what really made me look twice.
Mm-hmm.
Because when we were sitting in lawns, I didn't see winos. I didn't see bums. I didn't see down and out people.
Mm-hmm.
I saw people like you, refined.
Yes, sir.
Sophisticated.
Yes, sir.
Educated.
Yes, sir.
Uppity Negroes.
Exactly.
Who came in and had conferences with Yahweh Ben Yahweh.
Yes, sir.
And when I went out on 54th Street to the headquarters, I saw people that used to go to the institutions of colored learning who were there. So I didn't see folks from Skid Row. I didn't see welfare mamas. I saw people that I never thought would be there. And I wonder why they were not at Mount Zion Baptist Church, Shiloh, and other places. What is it that this man had that convinced them to come with him and not go with Ted Gibson, Father Divine, and other folks? So, as I said, I had to go out and find for myself.
Yes, sir.
And you were how old when you found out?
When I came to Yahweh, I think I was like about 21, 22 years old.
And you're how old now? I hate to ask you this.
Yeah,
television.
I'm old as the sun, moon, and stars. And that's what Yahweh always said for us to say. Yes, I follow what he said to the T. Yes, sir. Old as the earth is.
That's well said. Old as the earth, old as the sun, moon, and stars.
Yes, sir.
Okay. When you first became involved with Yahweh Ben Yahweh, how did your friends receive? Because too often we worry about what other people are going to think. I know it makes sense to me, but if I am not what everybody else is doing, I'm going to be ostracized. They're going to talk behind my back. They're not going to invite me to the party. So we get caught up in making sure that other folks think well of us when we're not even thinking good about ourselves.
And that they never received me, but Yahweh has taught me to be respectful.
Okay.
So, even my children, my son, he might not believe as I do now because he was once in Yahweh's University, but he's the most, Yahweh blessed me with a very, very beautiful son. He's highly respectful to me, and I'm highly respectful to him. And so it's okay if they don't believe like I do, because that's just how it is going to be.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I know who I'm chosen.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know what I'm chosen to do. And I will continue His works that He showed forth. Because if people don't see what He's done, then what do they have to compare?
Mm-hmm.
If a person's negative about it, what do we have right now that's positive for them to see? Nothing.
Yeah.
So I refuse to sit back and let His works become day. And it's been over 30-something years now. 32 years now. Since Yahweh was on this earth and did what He did, that no man has ever in life did. So I'm calling my family out, the family of Yahweh, the ones that were back there as well. I'm calling them out, because they are of the Godhead. They're brilliant minds, and they're doing great things that Yahweh chose them to do. It's just the fact now that this is my journey, what He chose me. So I just look for everyone to respect each other highly for what Yahweh chose you to do. But now we got to put it together. And that's exactly what I'm here to do, to put it together. And I'm doing it. I know how to do it. I've always did events. I've always had gatherings. And I know how to do it and how to put it together. Because people are really looking for that their real counterpart. They're looking for that real connection. Because we've been disconnected for so long because of the internet and the texting and the emails. We've been away for a long time. I'm not for that. I'm going to do exactly what He did in the flesh as the daughter. Mehetabeel BasYahweh in the flesh. And that's me in the flesh. I'm going to do exactly what He did. And He did it. And I know I can do it because I'm His child. And my other family members who are out there. So I'm getting them, involved as well to just bring forth your talent. Don't bury your talent. Bring your children forth. Let your children become sociable, because this connection right here it's like this. Once they do away with social media, where do we go at then? I wouldn't even be here with you, because I already know what's going to happen. I already know that it will be shut down because of the wickedness that's going around. So once the Facebook is shut down, which a lot of people right now hate, they don't understand. It makes no sense, because I know that that's Yahweh's platform they're using. He's the man of technology. He has spaceships. He had technology first. Ezekiel, a wheel and a wheel. Ezekiel, he described Yahweh's spaceships. So therefore, but once Facebook is shut down, we won't be able to find any of us. It won't be no more chances, because there's that for real disconnection. That's going to be a scary day, because we don't have people's phone numbers. When I came, I'm from Baltimore. When I came to Yahweh, I could walk the streets and just say, "Where's Yahweh Temple?" Everybody knew. Everyone knew the Yahwehs, even when Yahweh Ben Yahweh was here. But now a lot of our family members have gotten on the computer aspect, Zooming and keeping that as the main focus, which the main focus shouldn't be that. I have no problem with the Zooming, because I do that now with my business meetings. But my priority, we have to get that connection going on again, that for real connection. Because once that's all cut down, we're done. Your businesses will be gone, because everyone's businesses is on Facebook. Other than that, we have nothing. So I'm looking for those who want to reconnect. And even if you weren't in Yahweh back then, I'm looking for those who still have a good heart, who love God, and want to work together.
That's why you got me.
Yes, sir.
That's why we got together.
Yes, sir.
Because we are committed to make sure that the children in the village
Mm-hmm.
have access to everything that's going to make their future bright.
Yes, sir.
We believe that education is the key.
Mm-hmm.
And the things that you have described that Yahweh Ben Yahweh was able to do in the education arena excites me. And that is why we wanted to make sure that we had this conversation with you,
Yes, sir.
and that we wanted to work with you in our village. We're not afraid of good,
Yes, sir. Yeah.
and we know good when we see it.
Yes.
And we're not selfish. We don't have to get the credit. We just want people who are dedicated to making sure that the future of our children is what it can be.
Mm-hmm.
And I sense that. I feel that
Yes, sir.
each time that I'm with you. I'm missionary Baptist,
Yes, sir.
and I'm comfortable with who I am, but I'm not afraid of anybody who's not missionary Baptist.
Exactly.
Because I got good sense.
Exactly.
And the good sense is that if you are on the right path to make sure that my children's future is what it ought to be, and then you got me. Let's talk about what you've been trying to do in terms of resurrecting the whole educational component.
Okay. I go back to my past, or what I
Okay.
did in the past, to connect my future right now.
Okay.
And as I explained to you earlier, or the other last time I came, I had 2 shows that were going on, Kings and Queens in Existence and Prince and Princesses in Existence. Okay. My show that's coming up now, it's not a show, it's an event, which means it's a happening. It's a great, marvelous happening. This event that Yahweh Ben Yahweh's blessed me to put on, because he's the one called me forth to do this for him.
Okay.
It's all about building self-esteem in our children, building life back in our children, restoring our children back to life, and getting them off of death, which is these computers. That's their love right now. Okay, how am I going to do that? I'm looking for everyone to take part, all the good people to take part, and help sponsor a child and send them aviation school. And I will prep some of the ones. I will prep some of the ones if they're interested, like how Yahweh taught me to teach my granddaughter. Once you go online and see how she can recite the whole anatomy of the body, and at that time she could spell and define those words. She was only 5 years old. Okay, so the age I'm looking for right now is 12 years old and up, and I'm looking also for them to go to pilot school. I'm looking for sponsors. I'm looking for them also to go to airplane computer technicians. I got 2 companies right now that's looking and waiting for me to bring the students to them. We have to replace something better than we have now. And that's what Yahweh said, you got to replace something better as opposed to Satan's, Lucifer's world. It has to be something better. They love computers. So I'm looking for all those who want to build computers, but build it that it will be constructive. Building the plane computers. So there's a shortage right now for pilots, mainly us. And so I went and I spoke to the instructor at Opelika, Miami Airport. Very, very awesome, very meeting we had. It was so good. He introduced me to somebody else because he loved me. I loved him too, though. So he was telling me that's like I made some phone calls. It's like $90,000 for a child to go to aviation school. That means if you're going to fly the big planes. So when I got finished talking to him, he was educating me as well. He was saying, well, he says it's best for them to maybe go and get their pilot license. And it's like $14,000. I said, okay. I said, yeah, and then guess what? And he said, yeah. He said, and I said, well, they can probably work. Well, he mentioned to me about working, about they can work for commercial companies, FedEx, Amazon, whoever flies in the air, the companies. Once they get their pilot license, then they can go to school, and then they can help pay for their own tuition if they want to further and go in to driving the bigger planes. I just need companies to step in and let's get our children off the street. It can be done. There's no excuse. I'm giving no excuse. I'm out here by myself, and I'll make this happen. I got
You're not
one
by
child.
yourself any longer. I've already
Oh,
wrote you
yes.
one check, and I'm with you.
Yes, that's
All right,
right.
and
Yes,
we're
sir.
going to be supportive of
did.
what you're doing.
Yes, sir.
We care less about what other people think.
Yes, sir.
We're concerned about opening up new vistas of opportunities
Yes,
for
sir.
children in Liberty City.
Yes.
You know, and we want to be part of what you're doing.
That's right.
So you got me as a partner,
Thank you.
and you've got the agency as a partner,
Yes, sir.
and we're going to do this together.
Yes, sir.
I owe it to myself not to worry about what other people think about what I'm doing or to whom I'm doing it with. It's most important that what we're doing is for the children's future in my village.
Yes, sir.
So I'm prepared to be supportive, and I think I've already demonstrated that to you.
Yes, you have.
Personally.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm saying right here on this podcast that we want to partner with you to open up new vistas of opportunities
Yes, sir.
for our children. Whether it's 1, 2, or 2,000, it doesn't matter. What we've got is an opportunity to demonstrate,
Mm-hmm.
and it can be done.
Yes, yes, sir.
To demonstrate that there are others who believe that they can do it.
Mm-hmm.
That in spite of circumstances beyond their control, it can be done.
Right.
And if we just get one stand up successfully,
Exactly.
mission accomplished.
Yes, sir.
It's no process. You know? So you got me already. Now I'm saying publicly, you got the institution to work with you.
Okay.
And we'll map out a strategy and a plan that meets both objectives of yours and mine at this point. People have to understand that we have to do what we have to do in order to get done what we want to get done. And if we are afraid to form alliances because of what other people think about us, then nothing will never happen. If I was worried about being called an Uncle Tom because I was sitting down with white people who were controlling our destiny at that point, then nothing would have happened. If I was concerned about what the Cubans were going to do when they got in town, then nothing would have happened. But I spent my time making sure that we needed to develop a relationship with all who are in this town, who are in similar positions.
That's it.
And I'm a missionary Baptist. And whoever you pray to, that's your business. But at the end of the day, we both got to buy groceries from the same store.
That's true.
And the greenback is the greenback.
Exactly.
One thing Yahweh didn't do, he didn't invent money, but he did. One of the things that most folks don't know, that during that brief period of time, y'all had almost $110 million in assets. That's unheard of.
Yes.
That's unheard of.
Yes.
In that short period of time.
That short period of time, yes, sir.
That's unheard of. People who have been told that they could not be anything. People who have been told that they could not own anything. People who have been told that the banks won't let you do this and discrimination won't let you do that. People who had never been together before came together under one banner, put their shoulders to the wheel and pushed it. And when I look at the asset sheet of Yahweh BasYahweh Nation, it was almost $150 million.
It was $250 million for. It was $250 million.
250.
At that time, but it was more than that. But when he created the book, How to Move from Poverty to Riches, it was $250 million.
How you do that?
Well,
How you convince black folks?
Well, when I accepted Yahweh as being who he is, it meant a lot to me to know who I was. Because slavery, I knew slavery had a lot to do with my life. And he spoke the truth of who I was and where I came from. And that I'm a God. And that's the truth. And the name Yahweh was studied in secret with a lot of secret organizations who hold that name because they know that name guarantees success. And he taught us the principles. He taught us how to act, and and how to conduct businesses. So he's taught us how to do this. And I know how to do it because I'm continually studying. So he's not physically in that body anymore because he ascended. And that was in 2007. He ascended in that body, from that body. But yet I still study every day and I know how to do it. So my event coming up, and even the one that I just had, is coming together as the word says. Come and let us reason together. Come and let us be of one mind. It's the scriptures that tell us exactly what to do. So when we understand these scriptures and live these scriptures, and perfect love casts away fear, like you talked about people being scared because they don't have perfect love. So when you really have perfect love and really love me, the goodness that I do, or the goodness that you do, if you cast out doubt, because that's what fear is, doubt, unsureness,
jealousy,
jealousy,
envy,
all of that is fear.
It's in the way, doesn't it?
It's in the way, yes, sir. And that's when it's in the way, then you don't come forth, because all you got to do is look at the good works. It's not just my intentions. I've already been doing it. And people know me in the past, have known my past. I've already done it. I know how to make the children successful. I already know how to do it. I've done it. At my events, my children that at my shows, they make themselves $200 or $300 by making their little jewelry. They were all in businesses, and they were 7 years old, 10 years old, 15 years old, 20 years old. I gave them time on stage and gave a minute on stage to present their business. And I had companies pick them up in a limo. They had clothes. They had their hair done. I built their little self-esteem up, and I said to them, "You're a God." I did just what Yahweh did.
So it's not the color of your skin.
No. No, it's not.
It's not the environment that you're born in.
No.
It's not their attitude towards you, but your attitude towards yourself. You convince folks that there's no circumstance that you cannot overcome.
There's none.
If you don't believe that you can do it, it won't get done.
Right.
We are what we believe.
Yes, sir.
If somebody else controls us externally, then they control us internally.
That's right.
And you're really able to eradicate all of that?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Where you been all my life?
Well, I'm just a replica and duplication of Yahweh's divine mind, as well as the other nation of Yahweh members. You know, what I do is what he taught. So when people see me, I want them to see him and know that, wow, that's what he did. She's just like him. And that's how I want people to see me. And I will do that. And I'm, like I said, I know how. Because we have to get with it's the internal, the self-esteem. We got to build back their life within them, their energy, their belief within their own selves. So once you take that, and at this event, that's what I'm doing with them. I met one of my students. I got one child now, and I met with him last week. So he's going to meet with me this Saturday, and I took him to the place where he's going to be training at. He's so excited, and that's my joy to look at him. He's 21. I looked at him, he looked at me, and he thanked me so much. You know what that does to me? I feel just how you feel. Because what you've done, because everything by you having the success, if it wasn't for you, a lot of people's lives would be lost. But you felt that inside to make you be successful. It's not something that I wrote down to do. This is me. So he's happy. That's just one. And I'm so thankful for you, because when I came in here to meet you the first time and you supported me financially to help me out, I just knew, and when I got in the car, I said, "Thank you, Yahweh. I knew I'm on the right track," because you are logical, you're sensible, and you can hear and understand. And you've been there, you've lived it. So you are my counterpart. When you find people really can understand you and been there, that's how we can come on and run common ground and study. It's okay. This is what we're going to do. And I put Yahweh as my total focal point, because he said there's only one seat, and it's God's seat. That's his seat. So I'm not in charge of you.
I am in charge of it.
In charge of my
That's
community.
correct.
And
That's
we're
correct.
together.
That's correct.
When we
And I
work.
think part of what's missing
Mhm.
in our community is our inability to embrace each other's differences.
Exactly.
Oh, I can't be with her because she's with Yahweh ben Yahweh. I'm with you because what you articulate to me is also compatible with what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't have to be Yahweh ben Yahweh. I just have to believe that you believe what I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Our goal is the same.
Yes, exactly.
We both want the best for the children in my village.
Yes, sir.
You have decided that you're going to do it this way. We both have decided that if we do it together,
Mm-hmm.
we can also get it done quicker.
Exactly.
And
Right.
it gives more credence to the importance of doing it together.
Mm-hmm.
And part of what is missing in our community is that we have to always think that everything that we do with everybody else is going to be perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That person has to do everything that I want them to do. Or we're also very concerned about how we are going to be perceived and received
Mm-hmm.
by others who don't know what we're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
So folks say, what is he doing with that Yahweh ben Yahweh? Well, what I'm doing is trying to save children in Liberty City.
Yeah.
And anytime you see me, you know that's what I'm trying to do. You may not understand why I'm doing it. You may have a different perception of to whom I'm doing it with.
Mm-hmm.
But you can always bank on one fact. And if he's doing it, it's in the best interest of the children in the village.
Yes, sir.
So I can't worry about what you think about me.
No.
That's why I had to go down to the headquarters
Right.
and see Yahweh ben Yahweh.
Well, yes.
That's why I had to get to know him for myself. That's why then I formed my own opinion
Exactly.
about the people that I work with. And at the end of the day, I got to own my own decisions.
Right.
I know what motivates me.
Right.
It's not selfish. It's not selfish. It's about making sure that everybody who wants to make life better for the children of Liberty City
Yes, sir.
have to get on one accord.
Mm-hmm.
Doesn't mean that all of us are going to agree on everything that we're doing.
No. Exactly.
But it does agree that the thing that brings us together
Mm-hmm.
is that we want a quality of life that's better than the quality of life that our children are having now.
Exactly.
And education becomes the key
Mm-hmm.
in doing that. And when that is the key, then we can lay aside all of those other differences
Exactly.
philosophically, real or imaginary.
Mm-hmm.
This whole point. So I think we're going to make a difference.
Yes, sir.
I think we're going to make a difference.
Yes, sir.
You know? And the good thing about it is that folks who don't like this alliance, that's their problem.
Yes, it
Ain't
is.
not ours.
That's right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't like it, tell them to bring one better than the one that we got in mind.
Exactly. That's
And
true.
then we rethink what we're doing. But in the meantime,
Yes, sir.
in the meantime,
Mm-hmm.
you know, we're going to do what we have to do to make sure that the children in the village understand that there is a bright future for them.
Mm-hmm.
That our differences need not keep us apart. That we can be what we want to be. That
Mhm.
education is the key. You may believe in Yahweh ben Yahweh.
Mm-hmm.
I may believe in Zoroaster. Do you know Zoroaster? Zoroastrianism, another great religious belief, one of the great religions of the world.
Mm-hmm.
It is said that Zoroaster, the mother, carried him in her womb like all mothers do.
Mm-hmm.
And Zoroaster got out and preached and then got back into the room.
Mm-hmm.
That's what those who follow Zoroaster believe.
Okay.
And then they say that Buddhism, you know, Buddhism.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, Buddhism, you know how big Buddha is. You've seen the statue of Buddha? Okay. Well, Buddha's mother was supposed to have carried him around in her belly, like all mothers carry their children around in their belly.
Mm-hmm.
The point is that all great religions have unbelievable characters that they come from. So folks who don't want to be part of Yahweh ben Yahweh because of Yahweh ben Yahweh has created in their mind somebody that they're not used to.
Mm-hmm.
I refer them to all of the great religions of the world.
Right.
Right.
Yes, sir.
The folks who are Catholic because they don't believe that they ought to be Jews. And folks who are Jews because they don't believe they ought to be Zoroastrians.
Mm-hmm.
And people who are Yahweh and Yahweh also are grounded in the same kind of belief. So I can't get caught up in whether or not your belief is my belief. That's your belief.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And I hold on to my belief, and I do not criticize your belief, just like I would not criticize Buddha, Zoroaster, or Catholicism, or Judaism.
Mm-hmm.
That we are made up of people, and we all have our sacred deity that we worship and, quote unquote, hold in dear.
Mm-hmm.
And to those who want to convince me that I cannot be identified with Yahweh ben Yahweh because of what they think Yahweh ben Yahweh is, that's their opinion. They should have gone down to the headquarters with me.
Right.
They should have been with me when Mayor Suarez had Yahweh ben Yahweh Day.
Right.
They should have been with me when my mother came down for my 25th anniversary. And Yahweh ben Yahweh sent a Cadillac to pick my mother up and kept my mother in transportation while she was in town.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't ask him to do that. He did that.
It's most charitable. Most
He did
loving.
that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They should have been with me when I had my dinner at 183rd Street, my equal opportunity dinner. And he came in with 30 people with 3 tables. Nobody told him to get out of here. You don't belong here. They took his check.
Right.
So what I've said to folks is that you can be what you want to be, but if people are not what you want them to be, then don't condemn them. Look at what they do in spite of them not being what you want them to be. So I can carry around in my head all the things about him, his incarceration, all the things that were said at the trial about him. That's nothing that I have anything to do with. His good works.
Yes, sir.
His good works.
His works supersede all.
Supersede all of that.
Yes, it does.
It doesn't mean that I condone anything and don't know enough to condone it or condemn. But I do know that he came in and he did some things that none of us were ever able to do on behalf of Black people in Dade County. And for that, we should all be very grateful for that. And that's why, once again, I've been blessed.
Yes, sir.
Because my God sent you to me.
Yes, sir.
To help me save the children.
Yes, he did.
And
it's Yahweh ben Yahweh didn't just move out of Miami. He didn't move out of Liberty City by choice because of what they did. So you can't move God and put him where you want to put him. Meaning he's no longer in Miami. Miami was his headquarters, and Miami will always be his headquarters because this is exactly where
his headquarters is you. His headquarters is you.
Yeah, I am the physical headquarters. Yes, we're all the physical. The ones that's coming with the physical headquarters.
Absolutely.
That's when the building. That's the physical. But that's the physical body. But as what he established here in Liberty City, and you're here still, and I've tried to contact a lot of other people that's still not here. I mean, they're not here anymore. From How to Move from Poverty to Riches book that Yahweh had put out. But when I meet you, it's like I feel that Yahweh's work is going to continue here as well. In Liberty City too. And but also he's given me also a plan that regardless of what city they're in, this plan will work in all cities. Because some people don't live in Miami here. Some people live, that's coming, being apart. Some people live in different parts of the states. So I was just like, okay, Yahweh, how am I going to do this? Because he said there would be universities throughout the world, in every city. So I'm working on this plan that he's given me as well, because I got other people, other members, which you will eventually meet, that's in different cities, that they understand the method, because I had a meeting with them, they understand the plan, and they are ready and they're for it in their city. So not Miami right here is going to be a duplication for someone else to follow in another city. Simple as that. Everything, once the plan is implemented here, to find brothers like yourself, men yourself, like yourself, that see the vision and understand what's going on, and then we go ahead and work it from different cities and still keep it going, because we can do this. The force is powerful. I mean, the power of people is so awesome. I mean, Yahweh is everywhere. God is everywhere, and all good people. So I'm excited, to be a part of what you're doing, and to have met you. And like I said, such an open-minded person. And clearly, I didn't have to convince you.
No, nobody can do that. That's part of problem. Part of my problem is nobody can convince me not to do things because I think that they're the right thing to do. But I want you to know that we're prepared to work with you.
Yes, sir.
Okay. We're going to make it happen.
Yes, sir.
And we invite all of us to be part of this. It's not about the past. It's not about anything except the future. And we have to work together to ensure that the future is a quality future for all of our children. We cannot be afraid, because our beliefs will keep us where we are. We must dare to do what we know we've got to do. Yahweh ben Yahweh did it. Yes. I'm not going to let him outdo me. I'll see you next week. Thank you, lady.
Thank you.
See, the conversation that doesn't want to be validated is, we fought for centuries to be accepted in a land that never valued us, but allowed us. You used our gifts and talents and made a mockery of us, but never developed us. Community unity was labeled as terrorist schools, successfully infiltrated and ultimately dismantled by COINTELPRO. As a people, we endured abuse, sexual assault. We were taken away from our families, we were lynched, and most importantly, stripped away from our spirituality. We were given an identity and a name that didn't represent who we were. Through all the years of trauma, we still rise. We push through the educational barriers that was not afforded to us. See, they don't understand there's no stopping our progress. Despite we got to keep going. Through the police brutality, through the broken system that incarcerated people of color at a higher rate than any other race. We got to keep going. My kings and queens, look at us. They can't stop our progress.
We've been tested and arrested and stamped off for most of our life. Been beaten, mistreated, and murdered, unjustified. Black men, keep going.
Keep going, keep growing. Resilient man, keep showing up. Your presence is the potion. Your focus is the target. Magic man, keep sowing seeds into your future. Don't bargain with the beggar, but